Well, good morning. This is the weekly meditation from the School of Christian Mysticism, and you're very welcome in joining us live here today, of course. And if you're joining us at some other time in some other place, it's a wonderful thing to gather together in meditation and join hearts and minds in this way. And I offer this meditation in the name of love eternal, in the name of love incarnate in us, in the name of the love flowing into us and flowing out from us into the world. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. So today our meditation will have a focus on light. And I'd like to begin with this quote, which is from the Gospel of Thomas. Yeshua said, "If they ask you from where you come, say, we were born of the light, there where light is born of light." Yeshua said, "If they ask you from where you come, say, we were born of the light, there where light is born of light." So let us return to our breath. For those of us that have been breathing in morning prayer this morning, or come to our breath. Just resting our attention on our inhalation and exhalation, experiencing the breath as light. Today, as we enter this meditation live, it's a week before the summer solstice, on the 21st of June. And for most of us, certainly in the UK, there's a lot of light and a lot of sun. And as we know, in the summer solstice, the sun is at its height, it's midsummer, and we can glory in the sun and the light and the greenness of things. And the great Christian mystic Hildegard of Bingen likened the Christ, that force of the living and the light, to greening, the greening of Christ. So as we breathe light, let us let ourselves into these associations. I'd like to read a short poem by Saint Francis, who spent a lot of time in nature. And it's rather a lovely translation by somebody called Daniel Adinsky. And the poem is "Wring Out My Clothes." Saint Francis says, "Such love doth the sky now pour, that whenever I stand in a field, I have to wring out the light when I get home. Such love does the sky now pour, that whenever I stand in a field, I have to wring out the light when I get home." So let us continue for a moment with that image of being open to light. Even if our experiences of some darkness, some limitation, some restriction, let us just have our focus on opening to light. And the readings from morning prayer, I think several of you will have heard these this morning already, are Job 19 and Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 9, 1 to 18. And this meditation also draws on inspiration from these readings, as well as this summer light. And I'd like to read a section of Job and have us hold the light while I read of Job's misery. And obviously those that are listening to the recording can look to Job 19. God has walled up my way, says Job, who has had everything stripped from him. his property, his family, his life, and he is now in utter misery. God has walled up my way so that I cannot pass, and he has set darkness upon my paths. He has stripped my glory from me and taken the crown from my head. He breaks me down on every side, and I am gone. He has uprooted my hope like a tree. He has kindled his wrath against me and counts me as his adversary. My relatives and my close friends have failed me. The guests in my house have forgotten me. My serving girls count me as a stranger. I have become an alien in their eyes. I call to my servant, but he gives me no answer. I must myself plead with him. My breath is repulsive to my wife. I'm loathsome to my own family. Even young children despise me. When I rise, they talk against me, and my intimate friends abhor me, and those whom I have loved have turned against me. I know, however, he says, that my Redeemer lives, and that at the last he will stand upon the earth. And after my skin has been thus destroyed, then in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see on my side. I know that my Redeemer lives, and that at the last he will stand upon the earth. And after my skin has been thus destroyed, then in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see on my side. So how do we reconcile our often aspects of our everyday life and experience which may bear some resemblance to that of Job sometimes, and how do we retain that hope, that knowledge that my Redeemer lives, he says. And many years ago, I was, for the first time in a large group, I was leading a particular healing ritual, which Dawn will know about. And I was leading it from heart, quite a number of words. And in my anxiety, I forgot some words. I completely missed out a really important section. And at the beginning of the next session, I was told a story. The whole group of us was told a story, and the story was for me. And you might know the story of the cracked pot. And this is my version. I think it's a Buddhist story. There was a woman who lived in a little hut, a very poor woman. And she had to walk a long way to the river to get water every day. And she hoisted a heavy yoke on her shoulders. And from either end of the yoke, there was a boat and a pot hanging, a clay pot. And she walked all the way to the river, drew the water, and then walked all the way back with the heavy pots. And she did this in the morning and in the evening for her family. one day when she got home, she noticed that one of the pots was a bit emptier than the other one, although it had been full at the river. And each day the pot was emptier and emptier when she returned, and she realized that there was a crack in the pot. And she was very distressed that this was an essential part of her life. What was contained in this relatively small pot. And then one day, as she was walking along to the river, feeling despondent about her cracked pot, she noticed that there on the side where she walked on her return from the river, where the cracked pot always was, there was a greening. There was a strip of green grass, whereas it was parched on the other side. And from that green grass, a whole passageway of flowers grew. So I understood in that particular occasion when I heard this story, which was directed at me, for me, that the crack is where the light gets in. The imperfection, and that the way that our imperfections open us and make us vulnerable, that is where the light gets in. So I'm going to offer some practices to attune to light, this light now. And let us, as we practice, offer our cracks, what we consider or experience as our limitations in some way, or hurts, our vulnerabilities, as the very place where the light gets in. So with our eyes closed, let us imagine that we're outside. It's a lovely day. And let us look up to that very full summer sun. And where our eyes are closed, even outside in this experience of our imagination. But we're opening the inner eye to the passage of light. Opening our inner eyes so that light flows from that sun into our eyes. And we feel the warmth and the energy of that light which heals and enlightens. We feel it relax our eyes and travel down the optic nerves from the back of the eyes, right into our brains. Feeling our brains fill with light. And as our brains fill with light and all those neural pathways where we spend so much time in the mind concerned with our limitations, let the light just flood into those, pushing any darkness or troubles out. So continuing this for a moment, gazing at the sun, opening the inner eyes to this light, feeling the light fill the eyeballs, bringing light and relaxation, expansion. So often we screw our eyes up when we're anxious. Traveling down the optic nerves to the brain, from the brain into the mind, pushing out any darkness or difficulty, so that this whole system is fizzing, jiggling, energized with light. We were born of the light, there where light is born of light. So now taking this practice further, inhaling the light through the crown, taking a clear, luminous light in through the crown of our head. And as we breathe out, as we exhale, let's let that light pass through our eyes, our two eyes, and also our third eye, right in the middle of the forehead. So breathing that light in through the crown and out through our eyes. Our eyes are closed all the time. And through the third eye. The third eye, may your eye be single, said Jesus. The third eye that sees unity, that sees the wholeness of things. So in through the crown, out through the two eyes and the third eye, bringing clarity, enabling us to see clearly what's really happening in our lives. purifying, revivifying. The light of the third eye, the glance of unity, the glance that we might receive from an illuminated being, from the Christ. That sees us and sees things just as they really are, not overladen by our complicated thinking. So now letting light in to wash the heart, washing the heart with light, just as St. Francis in his field was drenched with light, standing there in the field. And there's that lovely picture of Christ, the light of the world, holding a lamp. And our heart's a lamp. So washing the glass of the lamp clear so that the light can shine out. Breathing in and out of the heart. Easing the tenseness that is so often in the heart through the experiences that we have in life. Enriching with light, fattening the heart. I like that sense of fattening, that something becomes juicy and fat. Fat with light, not thin and shriveled. Light like water, that water from a cracked pot, watering the life in us. Breathing in through the solar plexus, the pit of the stomach, through the mouth, imagining the great ball and heat of the sun in the solar plexus, letting the energy rise to the heart, where it becomes radiant light. Breathing out this radiant light, this radiation of light, the heart like a sun, the light of the sun. Breathing in through the pit of the stomach, the solar plexus. Breathing in the heat of the sun, letting the breath rise, cooling, transmuting to light. Experiencing the sun in our hearts being the sun of our own self, radiating light out into the environment. Then pushing out all darkness, all distortion. To remain transparent to light is a commitment to our true nature. It means the willingness to open and empty ourselves of darkness, of our resistance, of the barriers we have to being vulnerable. A work in progress always. By this we come to see that our true nature, that of light, and we protect our true nature like Christ, holding a lamp, protecting it from storms and wind. So let us continue attuning to light with the Aramaic word for light, Noohra. That's Noohra, Noohra, Noohra. So let us invoke the light, divine light, and we can chant this. No. Noohra. So just thinking that name of the divine light, Noohra, on the inhalation and the exhalation, aligning ourselves with light. Jesus, the light of the world, the light that is it is our inheritance. And letting go of any repetition, even on thought by thought now. Just sitting in the presence of light, the light of the world, the light of our being. Said in the Hindu Upanishads, there is a light that shines beyond all things on earth, beyond us all, beyond the heavens, beyond the highest, the very highest heavens. This is the light that shines in our heart. There is a light that shines beyond all things on earth, beyond us all, beyond the heavens, beyond the highest, the very highest heavens. And this is the light that shines in our heart. Amen.